So the UK wanted to poison the Donbass, and instead the UK has now poisoned the west of Ukraine.
Well, it just emphasises
the Russians told. Well, the Russians told the Sunak government. They told the Sunak government, "Don't do this. Don't do this." But the Sunak government, they had to escalate. Not that the Sunak government and the neocons that control Sunak are going to really care about the people in Western Ukraine.
No.
They're going to care about the weapons, but they're not going to care about the people that they've poisoned by taking the bonehead decision to deliver depleted uranium to the Ukraine military when the Russians told them don't do it because the Ukraine military is not equipped. They're not capable to handle these things. And sure enough, they were correct, and they moved the depleted uranium into a conflict zone, into a war zone. You don't do that. The minute the depleted uranium enters Ukraine, it becomes a target. Correct. But the UK, they had to go along with it. They had to do it. They had to escalate. They had to one-up Poland and one-up Newland and Sullivan and show that they can escalate more than the other guys. Meanwhile, Zelensky is nowhere to be found in Kiev. Nowhere. No. I don't think that's a coincidence. And we've been saying this for a while now, that the Russians just keep on, wherever Ukraine is storing the weapons, the Russians hit those weapons, and Ukraine can't go on this big offensive. And so Zelensky's traveling Europe to look for more weapons, and the dum-dums in Europe, the dummies in Europe are promising him more weapons, because if they don't continue this war, which they've bet their entire political existence on, then they're screwed. So Zelensky's been to Finland. He's been to the Netherlands. He's been to Poland, I believe. He's in Berlin. He was in Berlin. He went to France. Now he's in the UK visiting Sunak. Yes. He doesn't want to go to Ukraine. He doesn't want to be in Ukraine for multiple reasons. I'll give you three reasons.
And you have to have reasons. And you have to have Rome.
He was in Italy too, where the new globalist puppet Maloney promised him more money and weapons as well, and he visited with the Pope. And of course, the Pope didn't say anything about the burning of churches. The Pope didn't mention any of Zelensky's burning of churches. No, we don't want to talk about that. Being the Pope and being a man of Christ and Christianity doesn't bother him one bit that Zelensky's burning down churches anyway and arresting priests. That doesn't concern the Pope. But three reasons why Zelensky is doing this European world tour. One of the reasons is because he's scared to death about what the Russians might do. Maybe. I don't think they will, but maybe their retaliation for his ridiculous and dumb assassination attempt at the Kremlin a couple of weeks ago with those drones. That's one reason. The other reason is because he knows that he can't do a counteroffensive because all of his equipment, U.S. taxpayer military equipment, UK taxpayer military equipment, EU taxpayer military equipment is going up in smoke. And so now I have to run around begging for more equipment and this depleted uranium thing. You know, they're cleanup crews there, Alexander. There are reports that they're cleanup crews, and they've got robots trying to clean things up because they don't want human beings there to clean it up. And all of this dust is going to affect the wheat, the wheat that makes the bread, the agriculture, the soil. What a disaster. What a freaking disaster. Stop giving this guy money and end this war. Stop giving him money and end this war because he's an incompetent clown. And the people in Europe are all incompetent clowns.
Yes, you're absolutely right. I have to say, I agree with every single point that you've made. And can I just say again, as a British person, I am shocked, disgusted, and ashamed about the actions of my own government in supplying these weapons. And if there is this contamination, and you're absolutely correct, all the indications are that there is. There's robots, as you said, there's clean-up crews, and to me, this all resembles a little bit some of the pictures you saw from Chernobyl way back in the 1980s. I'm not saying that this is exactly comparable or analogous, but anyway, again, there were robots used there to carry out clean-outs. There were people with particular suits and things trying to deal with the effect of all of this dust. I mean, the British government should have been aware of the possibilities that this would happen, and of course they just ignored all warnings, and